Welcome back. In this video, we'll break down gross-up clauses in commercial leases, what they are, why they exist, and how they impact both landlords and tenants. A gross-up clause adjusts variable operating expenses to a standard occupancy, which is usually 95% or 100%. Importantly, the base year and all subsequent years are grossed up to the same occupancy level. So year-over-year reconciliations are apples to apples, not distorted by vacancy. Without gross-up language, tenants in a half-empty building could end up paying much more than their fair share of costs. Gross-ups solve this by normalizing expenses to a higher occupancy level, and it works in reverse order as well. When a full building later experiences vacancy, gross-ups prevent the remaining tenants from unfairly shouldering those costs. In short, gross-ups create fairness for both landlords and tenants. Most leases use a 95% or 100% gross-up. 95% allows for a small buffer for natural vacancy. 100% assumes the building is fully occupied. This protects both landlord and tenant from cost spikes. Imagine a building that's 50% occupied. If utilities are $100,000 with a gross-up, those tenants cover the full amount. With a 100% gross-up, the landlord adjusts expenses to reflect full occupancy, so costs are divided more fairly. Benefits to landlord: stabilizes operating expense recovery, makes expense projections more predictable, and protects against unexpected vacancies. Benefits to the tenant: it prevents inflated costs due to low occupancy, creates consistent budgeting from year to year, and ensures they only pay for their proportionate share. When negotiating, tenants should carefully review the gross-up language. Key points include the percentage used, which types of expenses can be grossed up, and whether the clause applies only to variable expenses like utilities, janitorial, or HVAC. Getting these details right ensures fairness and avoids surprises later. Unlike expense stops, which count landlord contributions, gross-up clauses are about normalizing shared costs during partial occupancy. Both tools protect fairness, but work in different ways. If poorly drafted, landlords could gross up non-variable expenses like taxes or insurance. Tenants should ensure only variable operating expenses are grossed up. A sample gross-up clause might read, operating expenses shall be adjusted to reflect the level of expenses that would have been incurred had the building been occupied to 95% of its capacity. Picture a brand new office tower that's only 40% leased. Without a gross-up clause, those early tenants would be slammed with high operating costs because they're covering the whole pie. But with a gross-up, expenses are normalized as if the building were at full occupancy. That way, the early tenants aren't penalized for moving in first, and costs stay balanced and fair. Tips for landlords: use gross-up to attract tenants in early phases of leasing. Clearly define which expenses can be grossed up, and stay consistent to build tenant trust. Tips for tenants: negotiate gross-up language carefully. Confirm only variable expenses are included. Ask for transparency in landlords' expense calculations. In short, gross-up clauses are about balance. They protect landlords from vacancy losses while ensuring tenants don't overpay for operating costs. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.